Welcome to the JP8 Report. This is James Pierce with the JP8 Report, episode 411. 411 like in information. There you go. Man, it's never hard. All right, cool. So welcome to the JP8 Report. Thank y'all for tuning in today. Before we get started, they're momentarily going to announce the astronauts that are going to be on Artemis 3. The next, it'll be a low lunar orbit test mission. But they just announced the astronauts are going to be on that one. So I was just watching on TV before I came in here. So just so you know, if you are interested in the space program and later on, just check out. They haven't announced the names of the astronauts yet. I don't know when they're supposed to do that, but that would be good to see. All right, making progress. Last week or week before last, I saw Starship Flight 12 go up. That was awesome. Can't wait for 13 to go. All right, so that right there. Don't forget to click that little bell button and scroll down to the follow if you are not already a follower of the JP8 Report. I got 155 followers. Let's see if we can get 156 or 157 today while you're doing. Whether you're watching live or on demand, click. If you're not a follower and you're just checking us out, click that bell. Scroll down where it says follow. Click the follow, and then give us a like for the episode, please. Okay, and then chat, and then you can give tips if you want. Okay, I take tips in the comment section. I take tips monetarily via Rumble Wallet. Click that little button that says tip right next to it, where it says the JP8 Report. All right, so next is America 250. Okay, so I'm going to read the resolution one more time. It's a resolve that these united colonies are and of right ought to be free and independent states, that they are absolved from the allegiance to the British Crown, and that all political connections between them and the state of Great Britain is and ought to be totally dissolved. All right. That was on the 7th of June, 1776. And today they delayed a vote on accepting the resolution until the delegates were authorized to vote in favor of the resolution and continue forward. If you did not know, tomorrow the Committee of Five, including George, Thomas Jefferson, and Ben Franklin, were on that Committee of Five to draft the Declaration of Independence, which they started drafting on the 11th of June, which is 2 days from now, right? So here we go. They're all going to be branded traitors as soon as they debut the Declaration. But yeah, so they delayed the vote today. They're going to form the Committee of Five because they didn't want to wait. They wanted to go ahead and get started. And then on the 11th, which will be this coming Thursday, they started working on the draft of the Declaration of Independence. All right? As you will find out. All right, so our next mission, well, you have no choice but to accept it, is the armament shop. Whether you're looking for your first firearm, upgrading your setup, or need expert service, Jason at the Armament Shop is Copper's Cove's premier source for all things shooting. Browse our wide selection of pistols, rifles, and shotguns, backed by top-tier gunsmithing for repairs along with reloading supplies and professional cleaning to keep your firearm in peak condition. Need a transfer? We make FFL transfers fast, easy, and affordable. Need your CHL? Jason can handle those classes, both online and in person. He has over 3 decades of experience. Visit the Armament Shop today at 115A West Avenue D in Coppers Cove, or call or text 254-560-2023. He's on Facebook at the Armament Shop And then you can visit them at www.armamentshop.com. That's www.armamentshop.com. The Armament Shop, your safety, our priority. All right, welcome back. All right, here we go with the Iran update. There was an AH-64 that crashed off the coast of Oman last night. Both crew members were rescued. Okay, that was good. It just crashed in the ocean, and they were recovered. No problem. And then, disparagingly, there's supposed to be a ceasefire, as we will be. Well, it says right here, Trump predicts peace deal within 2 weeks, demands both sides ceasefire between Israel and Iran. I guess Israel didn't figure out. Well, my patience is running thin with the nation of Israel. This is unbelievable. They just warned the people who live in the city of Tyre, Lebanon, to evacuate their houses. Because, okay, let me read this. The Israeli Defense Forces issued an evacuation for the entire ancient Lebanese city of Tyre, including the city's Christian quarter, Tuesday, citing Hezbollah activity in the Christian quarter. In light of the terrorist Hezbollah party's violation of the ceasefire agreement and targeting of Israel's home front, the Israel Defense Forces have compelled to act against it forcefully. The Israel Defense Forces do not intend to harm you, IDF, but you'll destroy their complete housing system. The warning cautioned residents to evacuate north of the Zaorani River, roughly 20 miles north of the city's center. Your presence near Hezbollah elements or their families or combat means endangers your it says their facilities. I'm sorry, endangers your lives. Adri continued, as we warned in past days, following Hezbollah elements' actions inside the Christian quarter in the city, the IDF will be compelled to act against their terrorist activities in the quarter in the near term. The city's Christian quarter has been continuously inhabited by Christians for nearly 2,000 years. It had previously been spared from Israeli strikes and evacuation orders that has targeted much of the rest of the city. Israel launched military operations against Hezbollah, an Iran-backed terrorist group operating in Lebanon, after the group launched a fresh round of missile strikes in northern Israel in March as a response to U.S.-Israel assassination of Ali Khamenei. Any building used by Hezbollah for military purpose may be subject to targeting. To ensure your safety, evacuate your homes immediately and move north of the Zaorani River. He added, any movement south of the Zaorani River may endanger your lives. The statement concluded. So much for Lebanon's statement to Israel, like, let's do this through dialogue and not by war. I do not know what's going on with Bibi Netanyahu and his ministers and with the President of the United States, but I can probably tell you he's about to entertain a serious phone call from President Trump. It's got to end. It's got to end. Because we'll never get an agreement with Iran because they consider any ceasefire between the U.S. and Iran would be the end of hostilities between Hezbollah and Israel. I mean, yeah, you got to depend on on Hezbollah stopping their missile launches. Something's got to give, people. Something's got to give. Okay, the Vice President said U.S. and Israel can differ in their goals. I guess we're seeing part of that right now, and warns that the U.S. won't assume Iran's actions are with good intentions. Lebanon appeals to Israel to pursue dialogue, not war. To pursue dialogue, not war. Hint, hint, hint. Israel intercepts aerial device from Yemen. The UN chief calls for de-escalation. Iran-bound tanker takes hit from an F-18 Super Hornet. Iraqi Kurds got hit by a drone. And then Bibi and his ministers divided over call to stop strikes. We think we know where they stand on that one. The Dow Jones currently is at 50,786 and 1 cent, minus 80.77. Brent crude oil, hold on just a second here. It's about the same as it was a few hours ago, but Brent crude oil is at $92.87 a barrel, and West Texas Intermediate is at $89.77 a barrel. That's your Iran update, all right? Including the breaking thing about Tyre, all right? In California, I won't sing the tune again. I won't blast or crack your eardrums and stuff. In California, you have in the governor's race, you still have Xavier Becerra in first place at 27.7, and then it's undecided on second and third place still. Steve Hilton's in second place at 25.1%, and Tom Steyer's at 22.4%, with 82.9% of the ballot reported, of the votes reported. For LA mayor, first and second place has been decided, and Spencer Pratt, unfortunately, was not one of the first two. Bass has 34.3. Nithya Raman has 28.5, and then Spencer Pratt came in at 25.8 with 92.4% reporting. All right. Yeah, he lost. I mean, what do you do in that whole situation about he ran a campaign of campaigns, and they kept counting ballots and legally they kept counting ballots after election day as ballots kept coming in. And so first and second place is going to be a Democrat or a Democrat socialist. What incentive is it for any of those 25% of the electorate that voted for Spencer Pratt to go vote for a Democrat? After that campaign and everything that was said in it, what is it? And then we'll go one step further, right? What is the possibility that Steve Hilton will get elected? Because if Republicans don't turn out to vote for two Democrats in November, what incentive are they going to be having to vote for a Republican on the governor's election, right? Time will tell. We'll find out on November 3rd. But you have a bad situation here. And it's a Democrats making from 2010 is when they developed the jungle primary, I believe. No, jungle primary started in 2020, I believe. Beside the point. All right. They locked out the Republicans in this race, and it ain't over with for the governor's race still. Hilton could be locked out. They have one of those mysterious 10,000 vote swings that happened over in the mayor's race a couple of days ago, right? All right, hold on. Oh, we got someone from YouTube watching. That's cool. All right. So, first thing, the mayor's race. Hold on just a second. Let me get something. I got my stories out of order. Mayor's race. New York. Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass and Democrat challenger Nithya Raman advanced to a runoff election on Monday evening in a heated primary that garnered national attention. The outcome sets up a general election that pits Bass, an incumbent, fending off criticism about a record, against Raman's progressive message of government-led affordability measures. Voting will decide the matchup. Voters will decide the matchup in a runoff election on November 3rd. All right. Raman, a member of the Los Angeles City Council and Democrat Socialists of America, has served as chair of the Housing and Homeless Committee since 2023. She has also been dubbed as a Mamdani-style socialist, referred to far-left New York City Mayor Mamdani. In her view, there is more the city could be doing to address not just its homeless problem, but also increasing housing supply, maintaining public safety, furthering climate goals, and pushing back against federal immigration law enforcement efforts. We can bring LA back to what it really is, one of the most creative, beautiful, most hopeful places in the world, but only if we come together and fight. That's what Raman said. Through a socialist off the subject a little bit, I saw a picture of her, and it was at a campaign event. I don't know when it was, but it showed off to the side of her a Soviet flag. I don't know if it was at a DSA event or what, but it had a Soviet flag in the background. Wait a minute. I don't know if it was AI or the real thing, but I did see it, right? During her race, Raman pitched herself as a hopeful alternative to Bass's leadership in what she called a fear-fueled campaign from Spence, a rightward-leaning independent who gained traction in the closing weeks of the campaign. We have a mayor who has failed to lead the city, and on the other hand, a right-wing extremist who, powered by MAGA, who's channeling people's frustrations about the city into fear and anger and hatred. Bass, who came first into office in 2022, argues she has a track record that is taking the city in the right direction. Yeah, okay. So, it said last week Newsom endorsed Bass last week. What do y'all think? Spencer Pratt ran a campaign that was a campaign that most people would love to run. I would love to have been that energetic in there. I mean, of course, he doubled the votes of the number of Republicans that are registered inside Los Angeles, because there's like 15% registered Republicans there, and he got like over almost 26% of the vote, which is good, right? But what does it take? Like Dan Bongino says, is it bad enough yet? Does the city got to go completely broke and the city completely destroyed before they say, is it bad yet? Is it bad enough yet? Do you really want to endure more of this madness that the Democrats keep propelling on y'all, driving people out of that city? If you didn't know, more people have left Los Angeles than in any other city in the country. And they're not leaving to go to the suburbs of California. They're leaving to go to places like Texas and Florida and Tennessee. They've had enough. Just a couple of days ago in New Jersey, Samsung said, we've had enough. We're moving to Dallas. New Jersey lost another multi-billion-dollar company. How many people are leaving out of Los Angeles? A lot of people, a lot. Because the stupid policies that are being projected or forced on top of them, and they can't afford to live there anymore. They can't afford the taxes. They can't afford the regulation. They can't afford the restrictions. The submissiveness of everyone that lives there, they're leaving, which probably going to make it harder and harder for Republicans to get elected, because most of the people that are leaving have a conservative base inside of them, and they're taking them and their politics and leaving the city because they don't want to be there no more. But if you leave California, only come to Texas if you're a Republican. Go to New Mexico, go to Colorado if you're a Democrat. Stop there. Don't come to Texas, please. Don't. All right. Next. So, on top of that, U.S. Attorney for the Central District of California announced that they are accusing Californians of denying them access to voter registration records as a larger legal battle over voter roll maintenance unfolds in federal court. U.S. Attorney for the Central District of California, Bill Essayli, announced Saturday that his office is partnering with the FBI on multiple election fraud investigations. In a social media post on Sunday, he said that California was refusing to comply with federal requests for voter registration records, which the DOJ has needed to audit the state's vote. Now, I'm going to stop there for a second. All right. I just read on Facebook from this one page of, was it California Federation of Republican Women, right? They said right before the election that started on, well, I don't know if it was right before early vote or right before election day, Gavin Newsom signed a bill that went into effect immediately that denied all access for any person requesting voter information, voter rolls, precinct information, unless the state gave explicit permission to be able to do so. All right? That's what I just read. We also have serious concerns about how California maintains its voter rolls. There are open questions about whether the state is promptly removing deceased voters people who have moved, and individuals convicted of disqualifying felonies. What are they afraid of? That's a very good question. Dead people can't vote unless the Democrats register them to vote first. Essayli said that California's voting system allows voters to register using ID that most Americans find surprising, such as gym membership cards, employer ID cards, credit cards, prescription drug labels, the insurance cards, noting that California provides free health coverage to undocumented immigrants. Wow, prescription drug labels. So what they do is they go to Skid Row and find as many people as possible and give them expired prescription drug bottles, and they can go get registered to vote. California also allows third parties to collect and submit ballots on a voter's behalf. That's called ballot harvesting. All right. Difficult to track who actually received, completed, and submitted each ballot. The dispute comes from a lawsuit filed by the DOJ against California Secretary of State Shirley Weber. Essayli said that the lawsuit has applied the lawsuit to force a handover to state voter registration rolls was now before the Ninth Circuit of Appeals. It got there Friday. Okay. He also said the Justice Department has been trying to audit the voter rolls for more than a year. And the federal law gives the U.S. Attorney General authorities to review the voter files and confirm that only eligible U.S. citizens were voting in federal elections. Federal officials have argued that they have the authority to review state voter registration records according to the National Voter Registration Act, the Help America Vote Act, and the Civil Rights Act. Harmon Dillon, that's one of two women you never want to cross in a courtroom. The other one's Janine Pirro. The Justice Department's Assistant Attorney General for the Civil Rights Division also sent a letter to California in August 2025 demanding a full electronic copy of the statewide voter registration list, including voter names, date of birth, addresses, driver's license information, or the last four digits of the Social Security numbers when applicable. The letter also requested copies of voter registration applications from December 2023 to July 2025 that failure to comply would result in legal action. California's election system has seriously structural vulnerabilities, wrote Eseli in another post. Universal vote by mail with no voter ID requirement creates conditions where fraud can go undetected and unpunished, eroding public confidence. Last week, President Trump wrote on True Social that he accused the election in California of being stolen, saying there was big cheating by California Democrats. Votes are all tied up, may not be in for weeks. Now, one thing that Bill Eseli said that they are tracking different investigations, but they have to wait for the investigations. But they have to wait before the voting results are certified, which will probably be another 2 or 3 weeks that they can actually proceed with any type of grand jury requirement, because they have to wait for the vote to be certified, canvassed, and certified and final before they can do anything else. In California, mail-in ballots counted as long as they are dropped off in person by 8 p.m. on Election Day or postmarked by Election Day and received by county elections by the following Tuesday, which is today. This is California Election Day +7. State law allows election officials to begin processing mail-in ballots as soon as they receive them, a window that opens 29 days before the election when ballots are first mailed out to voters. Okay, let me read that again. State law allows election officials to begin processing mail-in ballots as soon as they receive them, a window that opens 29 days before the election when ballots are first mailed out to voters. This year, officials begin receiving them May 5th. Voters may have up to 22 days to fix any signature errors on the arriving ballots. So my question is, do they actually get to see the vote on a ballot when they open them up? If it comes in like May 5th or May 6th, how? Oh man, that could open up a can of worms right there. Wow. All right. So a recent poll in Ohio found that 76% of voters want voter ID constituted into the constitution of their state. Ohio Senate has done what Republican-controlled U.S. Senate has failed to do: pass photo ID legislation. Ohio voters could decide the number in November on whether they want to enshrine it into their state constitution. A new poll suggests that voter verification protection is very popular in the Buckeye State, as it is through the rest of the country, except for in the United States Senate, because they refused to pass the Save America Act. The resolution now moves to the GOP-led House. It passed the Senate 22-9 in Ohio. Now it's moved over to the Senate, to the House, where it must pass with 3/5 majority, and then Republicans have the votes. But some conservatives want to see photo ID on absentee ballots enshrined in the Constitution. It says right here, that likely will have to be a battle for a different day. I agree. Take the battle that you can win, and then live the fight another day. That's easy. Pass it for the Constitution, then go back and let's have another go around and do it to include it on absentee ballots. All right. Their actual photo ID law went into effect in 2023, and Ohio is among 10 states that exclusively require individuals to show photo ID to vote in elections, according to the National Conference of State Legislators. Wow. So over the weekend, the House Elections Project Action released a poll that found 86% of likely Ohio voters surveyed believe that photo ID should be required at the polls. And if it's a bipartisan issue backed by 99% of Republicans and 90% independents and 69% of Democrats. Come on, Dems, get on board. All right? And the poll found 76% of respondents would vote for a constitutional amendment requiring voters to show ID. And then 54% are strongly in favor, okay? Those are some strong numbers, both between Democrats and Republicans. It was an 800-person survey between May 27th and June 2nd. And error rate was plus or minus 3.46%. All right. All right. So let's go next. We're going to talk about Oyster Boy. Oyster Boy. I talked a little bit about this morning, and I did find something that was wrong about the whole situation. So Oyster Boy says he makes a decent living at sea. That's not the case. Oyster Boy, he's a disabled veteran, right? Just like me, right? So when you run for office, you have to do personal financial statements. You got to do campaign finance reports. He's been doing those, but that's why it's always important to go back and look at them, right? So Graham Plattner's claimed that he has been able to make a living at sea since leaving the armed forces during a Friday rally, an assertion that his financial disclosures don't seem to support. Plattner, who's running for Senate in Maine to unseat Susan Collins, has long identified himself as an oyster farmer and a harbor master, giving a blue-collar tinge to his left-wing campaign. Financial disclosures, however, show that he brings relatively little money in from oyster farming. He's still an oyster boy to me, okay? With reports suggesting that Plattner received the majority of his income through veterans' disability payments. I don't have a problem with that at all because I'm disabled. My health care gave me freedom, Plattner said on a June 5th rally. No problem, right? He gave me the freedom to take risks, start a business, and to sink my intellect and my physicality into mastering the skills necessary to make a living on the sea. Plattner's comments drew the ire of social media, many questioning the Senate hopeful's claim of a working class identity. And here we go. I hope you're sitting down watching this. Hopefully you're not on a 5-mile run listening and going to hear this in just a second. So his 2025 financial disclosure he listed as other 5,001 as his annual income from oyster farming. So he made $5,000 in 1 year from farming oysters. The candidate's entire business is only worth between $50,000 and $100,000, which accounts for his boat, lines, anchors, and other farming equipment per his disclosure. So he makes $5,000 a year, and he has business assets of $50,000 to $100,000. He earned an additional $3,000, so now he's up to $8,000 a year, right? As a harbor master for Sullivan, Maine, a role that the Washington Free Beacon reported as largely clerical, and where he is responsible for oversee 17 boats in the small town's coast. All right. Taken together, these sums are dwarfed by the $4,800 Plattner says he receives through monthly disability payments. Plattner is legally entitled to such sum owing to injuries he suffered while serving in the armed forces. Okay, so I'm going to stop there. So if you are a disabled American veteran and you are 100% disabled, you make about $40,000 a month. If you have a spouse or one dependent, right, you get about 100 more. And then you get $100 for each individual dependent that's still with you. So if you got 3 dependents, you get $100 per dependent, right? So I don't think they have any dependents under 18. He's married, and he received $4,800 a month, which means, if I'm looking at this right, he's 100% disabled UI. And I wish retired Rob was on here because he could tell me. Or Buddy. Man. So usually if you are 100% plus UI, you get your disability plus a $500 stipend to compensate you for not going out and work. Now that means if he's got $4,800, that means he can't work physically, right? Because of UI. Now, what I'm getting at is, if he can't work for a living, how does he oyster farm? How does he? Because if he's making $5,000 a year oyster farming, that means he cannot have employees. There's no way possible, because he's not able to pay them, right? Because I would already quit. So if he's out oyster farming by himself and he's 100% disabled UI, how in the world is he actually collecting that disability legally? And did he lie to the VA about his injuries so he'll get the UI identification? But also at the same time, he's defrauding the U.S. government of compensation of CMP because he can actually work. I mean, I know it's only $500 a month, but if you do 500 times 12, that's 500, that's 5,000, that's $6,000 a year, right? That he should not be receiving because he can actually work, okay? And I'm not talking about being a harbor master for 17 boats. I'm talking about being an oyster farmer, having to operate your boat, lifting up oysters out of the water, processing everything, boxing up everything. So, you're going to work your body to the death doing that. And if your body is injured from military operations and when he was a Marine, something is wrong and all that. And somebody actually should look into that, because he may be lying. Okay? I'm not saying he is. If it smells like a duck, looks like a duck, and quacks like a duck, it's a duck. Okay? So, I mean, today he's gonna win the primary in Maine. We got that, right? But is he defrauding the U.S. government by doing that? And somebody should actually look into that itself. All right. So, Oyster Boy, you might have met your match. Okay, now we shift over to Nevada. So we're going from Maine, 3/4 away, across, or about 80% away, down the road, all the way toward California. So we're in Nevada. President Trump endorsed 4 congressional candidates in Nevada and the Attorney General. President Trump on Monday endorsed 3 Republican primary candidates for 3 separate congressional districts in Nevada's primary races, as well as candidate for Attorney General. I hope he endorsed 3 candidates in 3 separate races, because I hope he wouldn't have endorsed 2 people in the same race. That was a badly written sentence. In a series of posts on True Social, Trump endorsed Marty O'Donnell for Nevada 3rd Congressional District, David Filippo for Nevada 2nd Congressional District, and Kerry Buck for the Nevada's 1st Congressional District. All candidates have challengers in there, so they got to beat all the challengers. And then President Trump also endorsed Adriana Guzman Freilich for the Attorney General of Nevada, and she has 1 challenger against her. Okay? Good luck, Republicans. Go out and win. Next, incumbent Governor Joe Lombardo from Nevada. President Trump endorsed him also. He says President Trump on Monday endorsed incumbent Governor Joe Lombardo for the Nevada gubernatorial race. He said he cited Lombardo's experience in law enforcement and his military service. Joe strongly supports our incredible law enforcement, military, and veterans, and knows his wisdom and courage and it takes to promote law and order, Trump said. Okay, so good luck, Mr. Lombardo, on your race to win. You have 6 challengers in your race for re-election, all right? Primaries today, just like another guy's. All right, now we're going to shift all the way back over to the other side of the country. South Carolina. All right, South Kakalaki. President Trump endorsed 4 incumbents for South Carolina House seats. President Trump on Monday endorsed 4 incumbents for the South Carolina House races. He endorsed Congressman Russell Fry from South Carolina 7th, Congressman William Timmons from South Carolina 4th Congressional District, Congresswoman Sherry Biggs in the South Carolina 3rd, and Representative Joe Wilson in the South Carolina 2nd Congressional District. If you remember the name Joe Wilson, if you don't, think back when President Obama was still president, and I believe in 2011 that it was after the Obamacare went through, and in 2011 when Obama was given his State of the Union, President Obama was in the middle of speaking, and Congressman, I believe it was a freshman Congressman, Joe Wilson, yelled out at the top of his lungs, "You lie." And to this day, everybody knows that, well, they might know that Joe Wilson interrupted a presidential State of the Union speech. All right? You're not supposed to do that. Etiquette says you don't do that. In a series of posts, Trump said the incumbents are doing a good job at representing their constituents Fry and Biggs have no challengers in the state primary. Those primaries have been canceled. Congratulations, y'all won. But Timmons and Wilson have 2 challengers in the Republican nomination for today. All right. The president is quoted as saying, "I love the great state of South Carolina. Won every one of my races by a landslide. Only want the best representing you in elected office." All right. Also, in the governor's race, Pam Evett, she's endorsed by the president. Nancy Mace is like in 4th place. All right. And this race is so close that in the South Carolina law, like if you get less than 50% in a primary, you have, just like in Texas, you have to have a runoff. It'll be in 2 weeks. So the South Carolina runoff will be 2 weeks from the day after this. All right. All right. So before I go to the next one, if you're watching please, and you're not a follower, click that little bell and then scroll down and click the follow button, and then give us a like for the episode also. Appreciate it very much. All right. Next. Chuck Grassley confirmed Senate Judiciary received Todd Blanche's nomination to serve as Attorney General. Yeah, I hope y'all like my shirt. I just got this yesterday. It's from Teal Valhalla. Okay, if you can see it. Shirt only costs $17.76. You know, it's independence, right? Really cool. Okay, so Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Chuck Grassley said Monday that the committee has formally received President Donald Trump's nomination of acting Attorney General Todd Blanche to officially serve as the post. The official nomination comes after Trump teased the move last week. Former Attorney General Pam Bondi stepped down from her post. As we all know, she has cancer also, and she's supposed to be serving in this other aspect also. Trump immediately moved Blanche, who was the Deputy Attorney General, into the role of acting capacity. Grassley said the Senate committee is already working to process the nomination and express support for Blanche, maintaining the Department of Justice's ability to protect Americans from crime and hold criminals accountable is essential for the safety of American families. I've worked well with Acting Attorney General Blanche for more than a year and appreciate his commitment to transparency and support for law enforcement. Blanche is well qualified and has shown his dedication for restoring law and order across our country, Grassley added. The acting attorney general has maintained that he did not ask for the nomination, but would be honored to serve as attorney general if confirmed. I love working for President Trump. It's a great honor of my lifetime. And if President Trump chooses to keep me as acting, it's an honor. If he chooses to nominate me, it's an honor. That's good. He's going to be acting for 1 year. Okay. You may not know that. All right. Next. What are we doing? 8:49. We're doing good. Remember, there's no Dan Bongino show this morning. All right. So if I want to go 4 hours, no, I won't do that. All right. Yeah, I'll be done in about 10 minutes. TMI, I got to go to the bathroom, so I'll be good. But hey, that's it. Forget I said that. But let's see. Trump calls for Thune to fire Senate parliamentarian Elizabeth McDonough over the Save America Act. This is what the president said about this. And I wouldn't trust John Thune if I could throw him. President Donald Trump urged Senate Majority Leader John Thune on Monday to immediately fire Senate parliamentarian Elizabeth McDonough, arguing she is preventing the Republicans in the upper chamber from passing the Save America Act. McDonough has held the post since the Obama administration and is responsible for making sure legislation complies with Senate rules. She determined last week the Save America Act did not comply with the Senate's Byrd Rule, which determines what legislation is eligible to be included in a budget reconciliation package that can pass with a simple majority vote. Senate Majority Leader John Thune should immediately fire the parliamentarian who treats Republicans and everything that they stand for horribly. Trump posted on Truth Social, "We have every right to change her and should do so immediately. As long as she's there, we will not get through our desperately needed Save America Act approved and put into full force and effect. The Save America Act is a nationwide voter ID bill that requires people to present proof of citizenship to register to vote and require Americans to show photo ID when voting." All right. If a Democrat hired a parliamentarian, why can't we hire our own parliamentarian? I'm sure. You know what? I would give Newt Gingrich a new job. He would make a great parliamentarian. Just saying. Just saying. Okay, 8:51. We're doing good. We're actually making through. Tom Homan said that ICE is preparing for the largest deployment in New York City has ever seen. Border Czar Tom Homan said Monday, that would be yesterday, that ICE is preparing to send a massive deployment of officers to New York City in light of Democrat Governor Kathy Hochul's recent legislative package that boosts protections for residents and federal authorities. The legislative package, which was passed last month, bans state and local enforcement from using their authority to act as civil immigration agents and prohibits law enforcement officers from wearing masks. Also blocks ICE from entering schools or hospitals without a judicial warrant. Homan said the surge in ICE agents will mark the largest deployment the city has ever seen and comes after he warned the state of the influence last month if the legislative package passes. You are going to see more ICE agents than you've ever seen in New York City, he told Fox and Friends. I just previewed the operational plan. It's not going to tell you exactly when it's going to happen, but it's coming. I'm keeping my promise. We're going to send more ICE to New York because you took away the efficiencies of safe arrests in county jails. The warning comes after ICE increases presence and operations in other major Democrat-run cities, including Minneapolis, Minnesota, Charlotte, North Carolina. Right? So the day of reckoning is on its way, Mr. Mamdani. You better listen to the border czar, because Kathy Hochul is not going to save your butt. 8:54. Man, I'm not getting to the stuff I want to get to. Well, we'll cover this real quick since people are getting ready for college. Disadvantaged students, leftist claim, are to champion are suffering the most from ending college entrance exams and math threatening California's future. More than 1,200 faculty members from the University of California had signed an open order urging university leadership to reinstate the SAT and ACT math testing requirements for applicants to math and science majors beginning in 2027. Hold on, let me see something here. Yep, okay. I just got an email that said Bongino, and I'm like, no, he's off. Yeah, he is off today. Okay. Many leftists argue that standardized tests like the SAT and the ACT perpetuate so-called systemic racism and widening racial disparities in education. What they're not telling you that ever since they um, ended the requirement in the University of California systems for the SAT and ACT is that 80% of incoming freshmen cannot do middle school math. I'll say that again. 80% of incoming freshmen in college cannot do middle school math. I would hate to see what the results are for writing essays on the English portion, on the reading portion. Man, that is disparaging. That is really concerning that our kids cannot do math and English flat out. I mean, I'm a certified history teacher, right? I've taken my CCAs. I haven't taken PPR, but I have a degree in history, and I did a lot of writing, and I was ready for it. I wrote some really good papers, right? But a kid that can't write, a kid that can't do math, can't even do pre-algebra, that is concerning for someone going into college. A kid that going into college that cannot do a 5-paragraph essay is very concerning. You have your introductory, you got your main body, you have your conclusion. Easy peasy. And you organize your thoughts from your thesis into your main body, and then in your conclusion, you review your main body and give an ending sentence. That's done. Too easy. But so they are recommending that the University of California system bring the SAT back because these kids are being set up for failure because when they graduate, if they graduate, they're going to go to a place and, oh, you have a degree, yes. What do you mean you can only do pre-algebra? Yeah, that kind of situation itself, okay? Look out for your kids. I mean, there's no resources. You can teach your own kids math. You can go teach them yourself. You can get books for it. You can enroll in the free Khan Academy. I'm giving them free advertising. That's stuff to set your kids up for success. And don't rely on just the teachers. It's your responsibility as a parent to make sure your kids are prepared for adult life. All right? All right. So we're at 8:58. I'm going to cruise through the rest of this real quick. Don't forget, on the tonight is, let me go to it. Tonight in Coppers Cove at Giovanni's at 6 p.m. is the Coppers Cove Conservative Club. We meet there on the second Tuesday of every month, and we just enjoy ourselves and like-minded people. We talk politics in a relaxed atmosphere. All right. Next, we have on the 18th, which is not this Thursday, but the following Thursday, we also have Pints and Politics at Area 254 in Killeen. It's in the old Kmart shopping center area, right? And upstairs, because the upstairs room, right? And we go up there, same thing. It's a little bit different format than the Coppers Cove Conservative Club, but it's just as fun and informative. All right, it's more of an awareness type event. Okay, let's put it like that. Okay, cool. Go back to me right here. Also, the day is the last day of early voting in Harker Heights for mayor. I am openly endorsing Mayor Michael Bloomquist for re-election. Last day of early vote is today. Saturday is election day. Get out there, bring 10 friends, text 10 people, and call 10 people. I think it is 10, 10, 10. Dan Bongino says that. Get him over the finish line. We can't allow his competitor to win that mayoral election, right? So today's last day for early voting. Saturday's election day. Both days are 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Like right now, they've been voting for 2 hours, right? And let's get it done. Let's get them over the finish line for this, right? And then it's already started technically, but the official first day of the open session of the Texas GOP convention in Houston, Texas, is from the Thursday the 11th through Saturday night the 13th for the state of Texas. Okay, so that is your JP8 report for the day for the 9th of June, episode 411. That's your information, your 411. All right? I know. Don't laugh. All right? I know. So if you're trying to see what I do on social media, you can see me on X at James A. Pierce Jr. And if I have any announcements for the JPA report, I put them on X, okay? Like if I'm going to miss an episode or something, I'll put it on X. Or if I change the time slot. I'm on Facebook at James A. Pierce Jr. I'm on ScrewTube at the JPA Report 67. I'm on Truth Social at James A. Pierce. And I have an email at JP8report at gmail.com. All right? That was fun, wasn't it? Woo! I survived, man. Thank y'all very much for tuning in today. I appreciate it. Oh, I'm sorry. All right. So I'll catch y'all tomorrow morning at 6:30 with JP's morning brief. Tune in there at 6:30 Central. All right. 30-minute format. If you're watching it still and you have not, click that the bell on the title line, the bell, scroll down, click follow, and then give me a like for the episode. Please do so. Greatly appreciated. Thank y'all for everyone that's tuned in today. Appreciate it. I will see y'all tomorrow morning. This is James Pierce with the JPA report. I will catch you on the flip side. I'm out.